Welcome back to Valhalla Predator Hunting. Another unboxing. Super excited about this one. It's the Thor 4 Smart HD Thermal Rifle Scope. First thing, this is my second ATN product that I've owned. The first one was the X-Sight 4K 5x20. Great scope, great scope. The light that they send with the 4K X-Sight is a little weak, so I ended up getting the Coyote Reaper from Predator Tactics, which was phenomenal. So if you happen to get one, I would highly recommend just upgrading the IR light so that it functions a little bit better for you, and you get out of it what you want to get out of it. So here it is, not open. It's first of all, it's got the record option, which is great. I love that option in the scopes. It allows me to record my hunts, and even if I'm not hunting, if I'm out night hunting and I look around and sometimes I see other wildlife out there and I'm just like, oh, you know what, that'd be kind of cool to capture that, or oh, look at that, or like I saw a huge buck one night and I was like, man, nobody's gonna fucking believe the size of this thing. So I got it on there and it showed up great. The HD part of the ATN scopes is phenomenal. So there's a lot of people out there, when you read reviews and whatnot, that say the ATN products are hit and miss, or they're this or they're that. Everybody's going to kind of have their own preference, and I'm going to be honest with you. ATN for me has been great. I also have a Sightmark HD Wraith, which is also a great scope. It's a great scope. I've never had any issues with it. It's got good view on it. It's got good zoom on it. The factory light, or the stock light that they send with it, is actually pretty good too. But I just, I have that on one of my other rifles. But for me, personally, if I'm going to put it together and make it like my dedicated, predator hunting rifle, I prefer ATN products. So, this thing has a recoil activated video on it, which basically means you pull the trigger and you can set it to start recording 5 seconds before you pull the trigger, there's a recoil, and then like 5 seconds after the recoil, or 10 seconds, whatever your preference is, and it will record that. It's got dual streaming video on it, which is really nice, because if you have somebody with you and you only have one gun and you got the other person, they can look through an iPad or say your iPhone or your Android phone and look at the exact same thing that you're looking at through the phone, because it Bluetooths from the scope to the phone. Ballistics calculator, one shot zero, profile manager. So the one shot zero is true. It's real. It's the real deal. If you've ever been skeptical about it or how it worked, the one shot zero is money. It's where it's at. It's beautiful. Profile manager. So when you zero it in, you set up a profile, and let's say, and these things, you can bounce them from rifle to rifle, and that's what the profile manager is for. You might zero it in on your 5.56 and say, all right, cool. But then now you want to zero it in on, say, like your 308. You pick the profile. Inside there, you pick the profile, you put the ballistics of the bullet, the weight of the bullet, all the information that's needed, and you can just pick it up and put it right on your 308. After it's already been done and zeroed in, you're good to go. Dual core processor. So that means you're not going to have a bunch of lagginess going side to side when you're scanning, which is amazing. Ultra low power consumer, and smart rangefinder. So their smart rangefinder is basically, it's going to put out like a bar, and then it's going to make you kind of guesstimate the height of the target. So say, for example, if you're looking at, like, say, a mule deer, and you're going to guesstimate from the foot to the top of the back is 4.5 feet, and that's going to give you your range finding ability. For me, I use the ABL 1000, which is also an ATN product. It hooks onto the front of the scope, and then it gives you automatic laser range distances, and then we'll adjust your reticle to where the shot is. So let's say you're zeroed in for 100 yards. You have the ABL on there, you tap the range find button, and your target is at 250 yards. That scope communicates with that rangefinder, and changes the position of the reticle, and it adjusts it to 250 yards. So you don't have to adjust, your mil dots or anything like that, or play, figure out which one you need to go for distance. You push a button and it puts the reticle on it. Period. I did it. I just got done ranging it at 100 yards. I went over to a 300 yard range and was shooting gongs with it. And I hit the ABL, read it back to the scope, and I just pulled the trigger. I put the reticle right on the middle of the target. Done deal. So, anyways, let's open this bad boy up and see what it's all about. I know with a lot of their products, they do send quite a bit of good stuff with them. I mean, it's going to have, like when I bought the X-Sight, it had a eye relief cone, had all the chargers, everything like that. The only thing you do need to get, if you get one of these for the recording capabilities, is buy yourself a decent sized SD card. And the SD card that I have, I think, is a 32 gig, which is more than adequate. The scopes, from my understanding, were good for up to a 64 gig SD card. So that's kind of nice. Man, this box is real. There we go. A little cold steel here. We'll get through there. All right. Here it is. So they're going to send you with all the scope mounts that you need. Various different scope mounts for however you want to do it. If you want to buy an aftermarket scope mount, 30 millimeters the size. So just FYI, in case you want to. A different way to mount the scope here. Just like the 4K, this comes in a neoprene case. So if you are, in fact, taking the scope from one rifle to the next, it's easy. You just store it in this, put it in a safe place, obviously maybe in your safe or something of that nature, and just keep it where it's not going to get damaged. Inside the bag, you've got a cord. Now, with ATN cords, they didn't spare any expense here, because these are actually really, really nice cords. It's a really nice braided cord. It's just designed to last. Sometimes you get cords for some of these products that need to be recharged, and they're not worth a damn. But this cord, just like the one I have with my X-Sight, is amazing. It's angled so it'll go into the side of the scope when you have it on the rifle if needs be. It's a USB-C, so in the event you misplace this or you need to get a new one or whatever, God forbid this thing goes bad on you, USB-C, easy to replace these days. All right, here she is. Eye relief cone, in case this is something out. So on my X-Sight, I didn't find the need for the eye relief cone. I didn't really care for it. Some people do, some people don't. I imagine it's complete preference, but they put it in there and they give it to you. That's it for the neoprene. Now the scope itself, man, I don't even know what to say about these things, because they are just beastly scopes. They're amazing. Thermal, HD thermal on the front. You have your zoom here, so this is your zoom for in and out. This goes to so with the thermals, the higher the zoom, obviously the more money you're going to spend. So watch what you're looking at and what you're buying, because there's a lot of them that start out with like just 3 power, and for some people they're not shooting that far, so 3 power will be more than adequate, and it'll be something that works really well for them. For me, I found myself using the 5 to 8 power the most when I'm out hunting. And where I'm at, I mean, it's like to be looking out 250, 350 yards is not a big deal. Like that's pretty standard where I hunt. So I wanted to go with the 1 through 10 power scope, and that's what I got. So with the 1 to 10 power scope, when you adjust the zoom here, you adjust the focus here. So this will turn and adjust the focus as needed. You have the eye relief, so there's an adjustment here for the eye relief to tighten it up and make the sharpness of the HUD, the heads-up display inside, look a heck of a lot better. The powering up of the unit, literally just a tap of the button. Give it a couple seconds to power up and it'll do its thing. It's on. It's looking good. So with this scope here, it has black hot, white hot, and then it has colored, which is basically, it's just a the animal or the target will look in like a bright kind of fluorescent orange looking in the scope. So anyways, that's about it. Look for a review. I'll do a review on it, and I'll actually post some footage in the video of the review. I really can't wait to get out and use this thing. It's super slick. I've been really impressed with the ATN products. Yeah. Hey, thanks guys. Like, subscribe. I appreciate it. Happy hunting. Take care.